So Q&A, we're doing Q&A today.
That's the what's what today.
That's
Just questions.
That's the what's what.
That's
Yeah.
the what's what today, as we're answering questions. And guys, you know, we told you all that we weren't looking at the questions. Obviously, we feel differently about that now. We're going to keep moving forward, and we will answer your questions. And
I was told don't answer them good or bad. Now, the team got together and said, you know what? We're going to build our community. We're going to engage. Let's get rolling.
let's roll.
Victor Heiber, H-I-E-B-E-R 703. Please finish the story. Who took out Gus? Gus was taken out by 3 guys from Brooklyn, which I'll get into because one of them eventually became made with us. One guy that I was friends with wound up getting killed, and another guy still alive.
So you know the 3.
I know the 3,
Yep.
and one's dead. The 2 of them are alive. With that weapon, what eventually happened to John Petraelli, etc.? John Petraelli was killed by 2 of his best friends. Gus was killed. That's it. They're dead. And one of the guys who killed them, who killed Gus, is dead. 2 guys who killed Johnny Petraelli, they're in jail doing life.
And those orders came from
Vic. And when I say Vic, it means Vic and Gas. So,
as you said, they operated as one for a
well,
long
one of the
time.
kids that killed Gus, Vic and Gas didn't order him to be killed. They weren't involved in killing Gus. Petraelli, they ordered to get killed. Gus was done by the Bananas.
What years was that? You remember?
Oh, geez.
I know.
Late 80s.
I love asking you timelines because I could see.
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening in the late 80s. Xavier James, 8085. Wait, I thought you said John didn't want to give the kid up. So who came up with the plan to kill him and shave him?
Okay, John was flip-flopping a lot. He wanted to get it done. He didn't want to get it done. He didn't want to. I know for sure what he was steady, what he was consistent with, is that he didn't want to be the one to do it. But he always changed his mind. And who came up with the plan to shave him was John. After the agents threatened us in the tunnel, outside the Holland Tunnel, they threatened us. He was saying, well, if you kill him, how are they going to recognize him? Because he's got this big Grizzly Adams beard, you know? And he came up with the idea to shave him. I didn't come up with that idea.
And that was for strictly ID purposes to shave him.
ID.
Yeah, okay, so we answered that.
Southie 3177. Question: what was the book you guys reading from? Oh, when you were reading from the Donnie Brasco. It was a Donnie Brasco book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading a little excerpt from my uncle.
Yeah.
Where he was named in that book. That's what we were reading from. Donnie Brasco, if you want to pick it up. Amazon.
Everything's on Amazon.
Everything.
Christian Hill 7. Yeah. Did he have real dirt on Sammy? They make a deal with Gaspipe and Gotti walks because Gaspipe tells who Sammy really is. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Did he have real dirt on Sammy?
Is it referring to Gas?
Who's he?
Is he referring to Gas asking that question? Did Gas have it? Because
they make a deal with Gaspipe and Gotti walks. Oh, they're trying to say if Gaspipe had real dirt on Sammy.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Does Gotti walk?
Does Gaspipe tells who Sammy really is? No, I don't think that.
No, I don't think Gaspipe had real dirt on Sammy. That's not true. They make a deal with Gaspipe, okay, and Gotti walks. Nah, that's a real stretch. No way.
That doesn't add up.
Irish Green 3919. You know why we used to use tugboats? I know why. I'll tell you, in the beginning when the feds and New York City cops, NYC cops were paid off anyway to look the other way, that's true. They would see a legit tugboat parked in the harbor and wait for the big ships. So we parked them, leave the captain of the tug to watch it just in case. But a rat got arrested and gave up Gaspipe and affected us all. The tugboat's kid wasn't the rat. Take a guess who was. I ain't answering that one. Figure it out and read between the lines when Gioia is talking. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for the question. But
Who was I'm not trying to say anything in between the lines. 'Cause I don't know. I legitimately don't know who the rat was with the tugboat, or if there was a rat. Unless somebody got arrested. Well, here, reach back out to me. You tell me who got arrested.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know what I think. But what I heard when they killed the father and son is because the boat got pinched. I told you, Johnny Petraelli with the whole story.
Yep. But why the tugboats? He says he knows why.
Well, he's right about that. They will park them and like they're less suspect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
To watch it just in case. But a rat got arrested, gave up gas pipe, and affected us all. Gas didn't get arrested for that. I don't know. It's just very interesting. Now, he makes sense with everything he's saying with the tugboats. I know that. And even the New York City cops. I need more clarity on everything else. Irish Green, just reach back out to us. Drop a comment, when you see this. And we'll talk some more. Tag 21, J9I. You say the Bronx faction weren't good representatives of the Lucchese family. The Bronx has only one made man that cooperated, and that person was with the Bonanno family. Can the same be said about the Lucchese's Brooklyn faction? All right, here we go. What I meant by when I say the Bronx faction, okay, as far as the Lucchese family goes, they were not a good representative of us up there as far as what Brooklyn represented in Brooklyn, or Brooklyn represented the whole family. Bronx, I'm not saying they weren't capable guys. I'm not saying they weren't capable. Probably had a lot of capable guys up there, but not like the Brooklyn guys.
Well, he's claiming they only had one guy who cooperated, one made guy cooperated, unlike what he's saying about the Brooklyn side.
I don't know if that's true because you're talking about one made man with the Bonannos. So I think they're referring to. I think they know who they're trying to say. I don't know that to be true. I don't know. It sounds like he prides himself on. We only got one rat up here, and it wasn't even in the family, right? In the whole Bronx. I don't think there had to be more people in the Bronx that cooperated. I got to look into that.
He's saying that the guy was part of the Bonanno family.
Can the same be said about the Lucchese? No, same can't be said. You're right in that sense, but don't forget, the Brooklyn crew was a lot more active. There was a lot more stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're right. A lot of guys, no, I'm not denying it. Mm-hmm. There's guys who cooperated from Brooklyn more than the Bronx did. Yeah, but they were way more active than the Bronx. So who knows if it was in the Bronx and they were way more active like Brooklyn was, maybe you would have had the same amount of people cooperating. Yeah. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think you're mocking the Bronx in any way, and that may be how he took it a little bit.
It's all speculation.
Yeah. At this point, it's very speculative.
Xavier James, 8085. Episodes have been getting really good lately. Thank you. John Petraelli's stories are fire. Can't wait to hear what Gaspipe said about Vic and who really hit Neil. Gas said a lot about Vic, and I'll share that. Again, another episode. Too long to answer one question. And Neil did get hit, but he survived.
Now, Neil, who was he referring to? So everybody's aware.
Neil Migleori, who was a Bronx guy that was up in originally Harlem, I think. Was up in the Bronx. Yeah, I know the guys that went on that work.
Everybody likes John Petraelli stories.
Christopher Drager, 4421. That's what Riccardi said. They knew nothing about LCN. They were animal killers. And Tumac, my Jersey guy, said, "F him." Be abused. Tumac was a effing beast. He had a lot of killers. Another question I have is who proposed gas and who did he do his first work for and why wasn't he made with the Genovese family?
It's an extensive question there.
There's like 10 questions in there. So Riccardi, look, they were predominantly killers. I wouldn't say they knew nothing about LCN, but yeah, they had no finesse. There was no politicking with these guys. It was just all about doing work. Tumac is right. He was the captain there for a long time. He had a good reputation in Jersey. He had a lot of capable guys under him, Tommy Riccardi being one of them. But Tumac cooperated. Tommy Riccardi cooperated. Who proposed gas was Christy Tick. Oh. Who did he do his first piece of work for? Christy Tick. And why wasn't he made with the Genovese family? I don't know why. He probably could have got made with the Genovese family, but I think Gas wanted to deal. He wanted to deal drugs, and maybe he figured he couldn't get away with it.
In the Genovese.
The Genovese family, and Lucchese family was known for a long time to be a junk crew based out of Harlem. So maybe that, I don't know for sure. That's just my guess.
Vic was pretty smart. Gas was smart. I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Same guy, right?
Yeah, same.
Christopher Drager,
Yeah.
4421. Listen, I know Vic and Gas had firm control of the family back then, and guys were scared to death when they were in control. It's true. I mean, besides most of Jersey, but who else besides the Jersey guys wanted to dethrone Vic and Gas at that time? Who could have went against those two fools and took the family over? Let me know. Love from Trenton, New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah.
I think that everybody wanted Vic and Gas dethroned. They had nobody really. It was like when they took over the family, it was like a startup company. That's what they had a hard time with. Nobody was really in their corner. If you had to ask all the Lucchese factions who they wanted as the boss, everybody Luongo.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, they knew Buddy. They knew Buddy. Everybody knew Buddy. Everybody loved Buddy. I guess if you asked the whole family if they took a vote, they would have voted Buddy in instead of Vic and Gas. So really, Vic and Gas, I'm not saying I feel sorry for them, but they really had the only guys that were in their corner were guys from Brooklyn.
Everybody else was.
Everybody else wasn't in their corner.
It's kind of sad in a way.
Yeah, right. But then there's guys who did come around. You know, like Anthony Bowat was a Harlem guy. He came around. You know, so there are guys who did pledge their allegiance, guys who were smart. And there's guys who didn't pledge their allegiance and they got killed.
And it sounds like what I'm hearing is they came from all families and all different fashions, if you will.
Who could have went against those two fools? Not too many people. And definitely the other factions in the Lucchese family. No.
No one close would attempt that. That's for sure.
No, these guys were. No. Jacob Linville, since Frank doesn't read these, well, I'm reading them now. Will you guys ask him to talk more about Carlos Lehder? He said he spent the years as cellmate. It has to be some interesting stories. There's a lot of interesting stories with Carlos Lehder. Yes, I did spend time with him in Farrington, New Jersey. It was a wet sec unit. Carlos, like I says, a lot of wisdom, very intelligent guy, good guy to do time with, very close to his daughters. He always was a good dad. He made sure he always communicated with them. Yeah, I learned a lot from Carlos. I'll get into, obviously it's too much to.
Can we talk about him? We can talk about him. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I get off paper, this is one of the guys that I would do a show with.
Right.
Either Zoom or fly in or I fly there. I think he's in Germany now.
Yeah, that would be a great story.
Because
There's no
German.
question. Yeah. No question. That'll be great.
Front Row Joe 306. Ain't Sonny the guy with the beard standing next to two Billy Bats and Goodfellas? So wait a minute. First I thought he was Jeff Goldblum. Now you're two Billy Bats and Goodfellas.
I'm standing next to Billy Bats and Goodfellas. Maybe I am. I don't know. I love the question. But, yeah. I'm going to shave this thing and then be done with the whole beard thing. It's getting too hot here to have a beard anyway.
I know. That's what happened with me. I had a beard.
Yeah.
I said it was like 100 and whatever.
Yeah, well, over 100 a few days, it starts to burn your face out here. and I'll tell you why I grew it. I mean, I was going through some skin cancer stuff and going for radiation, and one thing led to another. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to grow a beard while I'm doing all this radiation stuff. So I did. And it wound up staying. And here it is, I don't know, 10, 12 months later, I still have it. But I've never had a beard before. I've had a goatee, but the beard's got to go. I remember when I was a kid, they used to tell my uncle, you can't have facial hair when he had his mustache.
Are you related to Anthony Gioia?
Anthony, I think.
Right, so I said
that question, I think.
Yeah, I have an uncle, my father's kid brother, whose name is Anthony Gioia. So yeah, if this is the same Anthony Gioia we're talking about, he will be my uncle. Yes. You're the experts, but You're the experts, but allocating or admitting your membership in a criminal organization is the same as testifying for the prosecution in court. Come on. Like, it's unbelievable. No, I never said it was the same. What I said was, if you plead guilty and in there's incriminating language, they could use it against that person at trial. I never said it was equal. Obviously, if the guy's willing to get on the stand, it's more impactful. But sometimes it's not more impactful because maybe the guy doesn't do good on the stand.
Right. He could fold.
With a plea, they got the admissions from somebody, an allocution to help convict the other ones. So in a way, it is the same or better. A bit of rationalizing going on here. Plenty of guys have brothers, fathers killed, etc., and took it as part of the life they lived. Lehder didn't spend his life in the streets. I didn't either. What does it matter what we do? We're citizens. Would you have cooperated if you weren't jammed up and out on the streets? Probably not, I'm guessing. Yeah, I never would have cooperated. Never. If they weren't going to kill my father, I never would have cooperated. And I don't believe guys that had brothers and fathers killed, they just chalk it up to the life. Maybe they were on the street or maybe whatever the case is. I've never heard of a situation where you got the son in jail, they want to kill somebody on the outside. So they'd have to respond back to me and let me know, maybe you got some similar stories that you heard of. Frankie, but you weren't the one who saved Juga's life by pulling him out of a bar as he was getting set up to get clipped. Oh, man. No, I wasn't the one.
Do you know who was?
But I did save Juga's life, but I don't remember an incident pulling him out of a bar,
Indirectly.
I remember an incident where I was pulling him out of a car where he was going to get clipped, so I saved him out of a car, not a bar.
Not a bar. So he heard bar.
So maybe he heard bar.
Maybe. Yeah, that happens. But it was a car you pulled him out of. And why were they trying to clip him? Do you know? Do you remember?
That's a long story.
Is it? Okay. Timothy O'Reilly, 6675. Very interested in hearing the business stories.
Me too. That's what I really want to talk about, but I can't because, again, I'm on federal supervised release, got another 16 months. Can't discuss the case, the particulars of the case, but to me, that's more interesting than this mob stuff. I mean, we'll get through the mob stuff. You'll hear stories that you haven't heard before. And what I like to tell is stories that I have first-handed knowledge where I was involved or I was right there, because everything else after that's an opinion.
Right. Well, I think everybody appreciates that about you, Frank, that you are talking at first-hand experience, and everybody's starting to pick up on that. So, and you're very real when you tell the stories.
Right, and I'm more interested in the business side of things, too. There's a lot we could more. I think it's a bigger story than the mob stuff, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to it in due time, everyone. We will.
Thanks for another Deborah Benazzi 898. Thanks for another wonderful episode. You're welcome. I think we met you on Mulberry Street, Cafe Biondo, the late '80s. Chick It Eddie introduced. I know where Cafe Biondo is on Mulberry Street. Could be. Hit me back up and give me some more detail.
Yeah.
Chick It Eddie introduced. I don't know
who that is, but yeah, you probably met her and she remembers it.
Doggy Rat Tray 4685. Hey, Frank and Sonny and the other dude enjoying this from Scotland. Fascinated to hear about Gus Farace, Gas and Vic, Some Life. What was Al Darcy like? Read his book. Seemed a bit of a oddball.
That's a good question. Thanks for watching. Wow. Scotland.
Now, Al wasn't an oddball. He was, I would say he was more eccentric.
Okay.
I
think a lot of guys were at that time.
Yeah. I mean, he had his quirks like everybody else, but he wasn't like an oddball where, oddball what you think of, you know what I mean?
Right. He wasn't dressing weird and doing weird stuff.
No.
Swinging golf clubs that weren't there.
No.
I get what you're saying.
No. It was,
yeah. That's pretty funny. But I love the fact that they're watching in Scotland, Frank. What do you think of that? That guy's from Scotland. And he knows the show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty cool.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So here we are at the end of our question session.
I think we went through 90-something questions.
Something like that.
Not bad. Looking forward to a lot more. And I think everything went good.
Yeah. I'm thankful for the audience for the questions, and hopefully we answered them properly. But what you've done is induce some new stories and got us thinking. And as Frank said during some of these questions, there's a lot here. So be prepared for some great stories coming your way.
So before we wrap up, there's this one guy I noticed out of the 90-something questions we answered. There's this one guy, Ryan Evans. Yeah. At least that's his handle.
Right.
We don't know if that's his real name or not.
Right.
He seems to have predominantly the most questions out of the 90-something questions we answered.
He had some good ones.
And you know what? A lot of them I couldn't get into detail. A lot of them I couldn't answer because they were, I need more clarity on.
Right.
So Ryan, if you're watching this, which I'm, probably will, reach back out to us, drop some in the comments, and look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah.
Also, too, what stood out to me was there was about 4 or 5 people that he mentioned that I didn't know. Maybe he could give me some knowledge or what he knows about them.
Yep.
And then we could take it from there, start a conversation.
Yeah, I like that idea.
In the meantime, I'm beat up.
Yep, it's been
I'm ready to go back to the east side.
Well, I'll see you when I see you, my brother.
See you.
God bless you.
In the game, Uno. Shout out to my Usos, killing bills like Uma. Balls travel from Pluto, big truck soprano, gabagool and